How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of our van build. Back in the van. It looks nothing like the previous episode. I think the last episode you guys saw, we put in an entire bed lift system. It was awesome, worked out great, and we have since torn everything back out so we can paint it really well and just get it all ready for the final install of everything. So in the meantime, I'm gonna get working on some other stuff. Today I'm gonna get into the plumbing of our van. So I got a whole bunch of stuff here going on. I don't know anything about plumbing. I have never done any sort of plumbing work ever in my whole life. So having said that, please don't take anything of what I'm doing as professional advice. You're going to be learning with me. I'm going to make tons of mistakes probably, but you know what? Let's jump in. Let's see what happens. So yeah, just to give you an idea of what we've got going on. So to start with, we have our big 30-gallon freshwater tank that is going to live right here. I've kind of marked where it's supposed to live, and this is going to be underneath our rear passenger side cabinetry, so there's going to be drawers and stuff all around it. So it has to fit pretty snug in this area, but I believe I've worked out all the spacing pretty well. We got our water pump and accumulator tank, as well as just about every single type of PEX pipe fitting that I could find at Home Depot. We're going to need a lot of this stuff and all sorts of different angles and tees and stuff like that. Over here we got our hot water tank. This is a Bosch 2.5 gallon instant electric hot water heater. Runs off of 120 volts, so we're gonna have to wire a plug also in this area somewhere, so I'm gonna make sure I make room for that. And yeah, what else we got over here? This is a PEX crimping tool. As you can see, I have yet to even open this. Just got it from Amazon, and I need to learn how to use that and somehow put this all together. We got some piping over here. We got hot water, cold water, as well as this food grade braided vinyl hose that is going to be used for things like our water fill line that's coming in from outside. That'll go into that corner of the tank. It'll also probably go from our water pump line down here in the corner to the water pump that'll live up here, as well as our accumulator tank. So yeah, oh, one thing I forgot to mention, kind of jumped the gun with buying this thing, and I ordered this without any sort of fittings attached to it at all. So it's just a blank tank, and I need to somehow figure out a way to get threaded fittings into this. That's still TBA. I'm still trying to figure out what the best way to do that is. So in the meantime, I'm just going to try to pre-run a bunch of the lines as much as I can. I'm going to get the water pump mounted and the accumulator tank, as well as the lines that are going to come out of it towards our sink and our shower, just so all that's ready by the time we actually get to the building of those sections. Because once we close this off with a whole bunch of cabinetry, it's going to be a lot harder to work with. So I'm going to get going with that. Okay, so I think I'm going to start by mounting the water pump somewhere around here. The idea is that the water from the tank will come out from here and then up to this line here. The water pump comes with one of these strainer filters to catch any debris that's in the tank and stuff. So that'll be the first thing that the water goes through. And then we'll have an elbow somewhere like there. Something like that. And then the accumulator tank will be here. Something like that. And then out from the accumulator tank to the rest of the system will be on the left side here. So yeah, that's sort of the idea for right now. We'll get this mounted up. I'm going to use Teflon tape for all the connections that we're going to put these various fittings on. So let's get to it. Okay, so now that the pump and accumulator are set up, I'm going to work on attaching the lines for our hot water tank. But the thing with these ones is I want to make it able to disconnect and take out, because we have to be able to physically take out the water tank during winter to winterize it and whatnot. So I'm going to make sure they're both fitted with these quick disconnects that we can just kind of untwist. We've also gone ahead and added a 120 volt outlet for our water heater. This is a GFCI outlet, so that'll pop if it ever gets wet or anything. Yeah, we're making some progress. Okay, so I've just brought the water tank back into the shop for right now. After doing a lot of research, what I'm gonna do with this water tank in terms of getting some threaded fittings on it is to use this adapter called Uniseal. This is an adapter that's widely used for things like outdoor water tanks or even aquariums, to make threaded fittings or fittings of any kind. So the idea behind these is that you take a hole saw, you make a hole, you put this rubber grommet in it, and then you take a PVC fitting. In my case here, I have a 1-inch PVC to 1/2-inch threads. So that'll work great for adapting it to our pecs. And so once you put the grommet in, you just put this and then you just press it in real hard. You can use like some dish soap if you need to kind of lubricate this if it's not going through. But that's apparently supposed to make a complete watertight seal. Yeah, definitely sounds a little strange, but apparently this works. So I did a lot of research and this seems like the best idea, unless I wanted to buy some specialty tools and do what's called spin welding, which is basically like taking an actual threaded fitting, not this one, it would be like a plastic one, and then you spin it really hard with like a router tool into the tank, thus, you know, basically welding but plastic. So I don't want to do that because that's going to be really expensive. So this seems like the best compromise, and in the future it probably makes more sense just to order a tank with fittings already installed and save all this headache. But let's give this a try. Okay, next is for our water fill. Okay, so we got the tank back into the van. Just show you a little bit of what's going on. So we basically made 3 holes. This one is for our fill port, which will come from our water inlet, which is mounted there. And then this is our line that goes into our water pump that feeds the rest of the system. So it'll line up with this fitting right here. And then over here is going to be our vent and overflow line. So this one will come up and out and then down into a hole that we make here, so it can drain down there. And there will also be a T coming out of this one that can also drain down there. So yeah, that's the idea. So now I'm gonna start connecting hoses and fittings and all this stuff, and then I will explain everything after. All right, everybody, so I have been rejoined by Dana. She's back and we're pushing on with our plumbing. So we're basically fully prepped now with all of our lines ready to go, and we're about to drill our drainage lines here in the floor. But before we do that, I'm just gonna quickly show you guys everything that we got going on. So this is where it all begins. I haven't connected this just because we haven't, like, you know, secured the tank in place yet, and I want to wait to do that kind of last. But this is where our water will come in from our water inlet to here. And then as the tank fills up and all that, the supply line that goes into our system starts right here. It comes out of the bottom to a main on-off shut-off valve. And this line here will go into our system. Again, I'm waiting to secure this in place before I finally connect it into the system. And then past that, it goes to a drainage line, which is controlled by this other ball valve there, which will drain to the bottom of the tank with a hole here. Over here is our overflow and our vent line. So really important when you are setting up a freshwater tank for the first time, while you are filling it, the air inside needs a place to escape. So basically that's what this serves. This will let air kind of escape the tank as it's being filled up here, so it doesn't, you know, collapse the tank in on itself. And also this will be our overflow line, which is kind of why I've got it kind of coming up and then out. So when we fill the whole tank, once this starts running, we know that our tank is full and then we can stop. But anyway, back to here. Our supply line connects to our water pump here, goes into our little strainer filter, and comes out the other end. I'm using double braided vinyl hose on each side of the water pump because apparently that helps with the rattling noise coming out of the pump. I don't know if that's true, but I did it anyway. So it goes from there to our accumulator tank, and then here's where it kind of splits off. One end of it will go into our hot water tank, which is this line here, connects to there, into our hot water tank, and this comes out to what will be our future shower and sink connections coming out of here. So for now, I just have it teed off on this ball valve and it won't go anywhere. And then this line here will be our cold water supply for the whole thing. So again, another ball valve, and it'll tee off to the sink going that way and the shower going that way. So we're basically all ready to go here. For now, we are going to just get this out of the way. We're going to drill our first hole into the bottom of the van. This is a big, momentous occasion. We have never done this before, but we're gonna get going with that. I've measured from the wheel well and from this wall here. There should be a perfect spot right around this area. Let's try. So, coming under the van, I'll show you where we're gonna drill. So basically, we got our wheel well right there. And then I've measured 7 inches from that edge over to here, and then 4 inches from here. So 7 from the edge of that to here, and then 4 up. Basically gives us like a, sort of like an area around here. So this should come up nice and neat. Okay, so if I measured correctly, this hole should take us to the bottom of the van without hitting anything structural or important. I guess we're about to find out. Okay, here we go. This is the first ever hole down the bottom of the van.
You got this. We moved it over a smidge.
I see light.
Oh my god.
Oh, there's the bottom of the van. Now let's see if it is where I thought it would be. It is exactly where I thought it would be. That's good. Okay, time for a big hole. Here's the hole. Oh, hi. I can see your phone. Woohoo! So we have hole in the ground, and yeah, this is where this is where all of our drainage for our water system and stuff is gonna go. So we're gonna get this all cleaned up now. And now what we're gonna do is secure the water tank to the wall and then run all these lines down, and then we can close all this up. So we're closing in here. All right, everyone, so we have officially finished securing down both of our water tanks, the hot water and the fresh water. So yeah, we got these ratchet straps to D-rings on the wall. These ratchet straps are rated for 1,000 pounds, and the weight of the water with the tank and all the fittings is probably somewhere around like 275 pounds or so. So this is more than enough for this. Always overkill with stuff like this just in case. And here on the hot water tank, we got ratchet straps going too, with D-rings and supports, wooden supports on the sides of the tanks as well. So yeah, everything is good to go. Our drain lines going down there, the hole that we made earlier, and we got to spray foam that from the bottom once we're done. But what we're gonna do now is we're going to fill this tank, make sure there's no leaks, and maybe even try the water pump system. I'm not really ready to do that just because, you know, like these pipes aren't really hooked up to anything, but I at least want to hook this up, fill it, and then try the overflow and like the drain line and stuff like that down there, just to make sure that they're working and that this isn't leaking from any of the fittings and stuff like these seals. So let's give that a go. We also added some sort of padding here. These are just yoga mats that we cut up, so here underneath the ratchet strap, so there's no weird rubbing, as well as underneath the tank in case it ever like shifts or moves, it's not scratching up the floor. Everything should be nice and protected and strapped in and good to go. We also hooked up our water level sensor. So this is just like one of those float sensors that as the tank fills up, there's like a little floating attachment to a rod on this that'll kind of float up while the water tank is getting filled, and then it sends a signal to a little gauge that tells us how full the tank is. In terms of the water heater, we're hooked up to this 110 outlet here with one of these smart home outlets that connects to our Renogy LCD screen, so we can turn off the water heater from the screen without having to run like a separate physical switch for it. In terms of our water inlet, we have this Accor marine water inlet. It works awesome. We mounted it to the outside of the van here, and on the back, you can see on the back it's got a piece of plywood that outside fitting is screwed into, and we have brass fitting, final tube to brass fitting to inside of our tank here. So we're gonna give this a go. We're gonna fill it up. They give you this kind of special hose attachment for it, and yeah, let's see if we hopefully have no leaks. Wow, this hose is really bad. We'll get a new one. Okay, here we go. How are they looking? Okay. So we got water running through here. No leaks in this part so far. And the tank is filling up. Checking over here. We haven't turned the water pump on yet or anything, but I just want to make sure there's no leaks in like these seals that we made for around the tank. So far so good. All right, unfortunately we got a drop coming from this fitting here, so I didn't tighten that enough, so we'll tighten that. All right, tighten that fitting. Let's see if it leaks again, hopefully not. No leaks on this side, which is nice. Really worried about that, the uniseal, the black thing over there. Same as this, the little rubber fitting that I put in on the empty tank and then just shoved this PVC fitting in to expand it, and that's all that's holding that water back. So I'm glad there's no leaks from that at all. Yeah, I was definitely skeptical about these uniseal fittings. Just feeling around it. There is no water. It is dry. It's just crazy how that can hold that. Okay, here we go. We're about to hit full here, kind of on an angle. So the vent and overflow will be first. Oh look, it's coming out. It's coming out, yeah. All right, so unfortunately, yeah, we got a bit of a leak from the water level sensor. I guess this thing is not as watertight as it could be. So I'm gonna have to figure that out. Okay, turns out I just did not have these cinched down. Well, yeah, we think that. But these were all kind of loose, so I just cinched them all down way better. Then try it again. All right, filling it up again. Please do not leak here. Come on. The overflow's already going. I think we're good. I don't feel any leaks around here anymore. Overflow is working. Another thing that I wanted to mention just with the design of all of this, we made this so all of it can be removable. So like, you know, we got these ratchet straps to these D-rings on the wall holding in the tank. If we ever wanted to, we could just undo like this fitting and the fitting down there that goes into the system. They're all just like, you know, twist fittings as well as the fresh water inlet there. And same with like the hot water tank. So it's just held in by ratchet straps. And same with these, we could just undo all of these, undo this one, and then all of it could come out if, you know, for any reason we need to do maintenance or there's like a massive leak and we need to get everything out of the way to fix it. Yeah, just, you know, be prepared for that and have a way to sort of, you know, get at behind this stuff if you ever need. That's a really good idea to plan for that. Okay, so we are at the point now of being able to test our water pump. And so I've gotten our switch all wired up. It's just kind of janky right now, I know, but it's just for test. So the plan is, we got these buckets. We have all these like prepped hose ends that aren't going anywhere, right? So I'm gonna turn on the pump. These won't start like coming out right away just because there's valves that are closed. So we're gonna turn on the pump, let it pressurize to the pump, and then open these valves and hold these buckets, and then hopefully there's no leaks.
This is a little bit ghetto, mainly because we won't have access to any of this stuff once this cabinet goes in. So
yeah, it'll be a lot
this
harder.
is
We have to like take apart a lot of stuff.
yeah. So we're just trying to make sure all of this is not leaking.
Like to work on this after the fact will be so hard. So, yeah. But anyway, we're gonna turn on this. Okay, here we go.
Oh my god, Mike, this is gonna be a disaster. Like literally just turn it on and then turn it off when the water comes. Yeah, one valve at a time, probably a good idea.
Okay, so good news, bad news type thing. So good news is there's no leaks. There's no leaks at any of our fittings that we've made or anything like that, which is very nice. The water pump pumps water, the accumulator tank fills up. There's no leaks in any of these connections or fittings. Unfortunately, a valve that I thought was turned off, like the valve that goes into the water heater, was off, but I guess the little handle broke on it. I didn't realize, so it was stuck in open position, and then it started filling the water heater, and then started coming out of these pipes like way before we were ready for them to be. So it's all good. It's all good. We cleaned it all up. We dried it all. But now I need to fix this valve here so we can, you know, kind of button this all up. So, but not bad. It's good news, bad news, like I said, but we're okay. Okay, so we went ahead and replaced this valve. Not sure what was wrong or broken about it, but it's fixed now. So we got a new one in here. And so we already know that the hot water lines don't leak because we were forced to use them. But now we will test the cold water lines, which is this valve here. So Dana's got a bucket over there, and I will have a bucket over here for the cold water. Okay, so this time everything worked. There's no leaks anymore. All the fittings are tight. Make sure you check that kind of stuff because clearly I forgot, right? So yeah, everything's good now. We're just gonna move on to probably, like, we're really closing in here. We're almost done. We're gonna go on to wiring in our water level sensor now. So yeah, just looking at the instructions. I thought that like you have to like run power to this, and you do, but you only need to run a negative to it, not a positive, which is weird. So that's all you need to do, and then the other end goes into this little gauge that we got. You can see over here, that'll show our water level gauge. That'll live somewhere over there, but we're gonna wire these together right now and make sure that this works. And then over here on the wall, we've already pre-run that line to come all the way over here. where the rest of our gauges and switches and stuff are gonna be. Okay, once again, ignore the janky wiring. This is just for testing purposes only. So I think we're pretty much ready to go. When Dana hits that switch, this should light up as well as move.
It shouldn't move.
To
It's basically, there's like nothing in there.
Okay, we'll see. Okay, let's find out. Turn it on. Ah.
You wired it correctly.
Hey, whoa.
Whoa. There's not full.
That's not right.
That's very wrong.
What? Oh no. Did I do this wrong?
What do you mean?
I'm not sure.
Do what wrong?
Alright, seems I missed a wire. I thought I didn't need this white wire, but apparently I do. And now it's working.
Yeah,
Look.
that's a little more accurate.
Yeah, so it's like basically saying it's just under half, and if we look at the side of the tank, it's just under half. Okay, you guys, so I think we are going to wrap up this video here. Definitely learned a lot about plumbing and PEX piping and all that stuff, but we have a, you know, prepped and functioning plumbing system now. We are all ready to go with attaching like a shower and a sink on this end. And yeah, for now, we're gonna call it. We're going to put all our cabinetry back into this area so we can close this all up and move on to the next step. Thanks a lot for joining us, guys. Hope you got something out of it. And yeah, we'll see you guys on the next episode of our van build.